So I'm a bit disturbed by how many people I'm seeing genuinely feel that they're safe in America. And I'm really, I guess what I would love to do is to just kind of talk to some of y'all who feel that way. Because I just don't, I am befuddled, confounded even by that, assertion. But I see a lot of people saying this. A lot of Black people saying, we can't be deported. I saw someone say, if they deport me, I'm leaving with my reparations in hand. And then went on to say that they expect that if they were deported somewhere, that the United States would give them money. I don't know where someone would conjure up that concept. I'm going to start blocking people who ask me, what's the solution? So I'm just letting you all know that. I'm going to assume you're a bot. If you ask me, what's the solution? Because that's a disingenuous question. But more importantly, there really is a necessary act of changing your way of living. And not enough folks understand that is a very specific action. That is a specific action. Changing how you live is a specific action. Even examining how you live. Then you have someone said, we got what we voted for. Jesus Christ. You never had the power. Voting was never going to save you. What should have happened is that post-civil rights movement, instead of our communities continuing to be separated by COINTELPRO, and instead coalition building cross-culturally and creating a third party, we didn't. And we learn. So to say if you were born here and your family has been here for generations, the struggle for citizenship feels distant is nonsensical to me, because your family only got their rights 40, 60 years ago. That just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense. So, hey Hamid. So like when people are saying we can't be deported, they can do whatever. In your recent post, someone said Gary Chambers was sitting this fight out. Just read his couple of posts. He said something about self-preservation, and first we need to address the racism. I have a different perspective. I don't think enough of y'all are even willing to admit that it's not just white people anymore. They have white, black, they have every kind of flavor ICE agent. They have the head of the FBI is a South Asian man. White supremacy is cross-cultural. And you may think, well, how is it still white supremacy if it's cross-cultural? Because ultimately, it is still weaponizing large groups. It is still using othering to weaponize and harm large groups of individuals who are not white. So I just don't know. I'm reading the comments. Yes, and Hamid points out a great fact. We are, as a nation, still very new, very young. As Black people, our existence as a people is still very new and very young. However, they can eradicate that if they keep going, because ultimately, people will trade in black identity for access to whiteness or to what they consider safety. That's what Sinners is about. Thank you, sweet Madeline Pie. When people say we got what we voted for, that just says to me that you are not somebody who thinks for yourself and you simply just repeat rhetoric to be included. It's like you want to sit with the cool table, and so you just say what they're saying even though you don't really know what they're talking about. And you know what happens when that goes down? They come for the cool table and you end up being the one that gets punched in the face. So, I'm just not, like, for yourself, just form your own opinion. And stick to that. Or just don't say anything at all. They tried to go before the Supreme Court and asked to be able to arrest anyone regardless of status. Yes. The popular vote doesn't elect the president, correct? Ramelia, don't tell me what to do. I don't understand why y'all even feel like you can tell me what to do. I'm going to talk about whoever I want to talk about. Apostilled, yeah. Jedi chilling. Where is she at? She over there. What I'm going to say is this. If you haven't made it your business, I understand it was with love. That doesn't mean I need to hear it. It's annoying. This is what I will say. All of these injunctions, all of these laws, everything is a lot. Again, how do you exist? Like in the world? Do you consider yourself a consumer? Do you consume a lot? I'm blocking Sweet Madeline Pie because any of you saying dumb shit like this wouldn't be happening if Kamala was our president, you are living in a fantasy. And so you're not additive. You're not additive to the conversation. Then we have Santos Amor. Amanda said she was leaving the platform and not coming back. Well, I'm back, nigga. Now what? So, I will tell you what I do. I am reading. I'm talking to different people. I'm putting myself in different rooms. I am completely committed to the fact that I don't know everything. And I am actively unindoctrinating myself. But that was only able to start when I did self-exploration of how I have been indoctrinated. And to be quite honest, Debbie, sometimes it's not about having opposing views, but more so about having expansive views. If I can only, Hitchcock, Tamara, why don't you just pay attention and you'll pick it up? If I'm only around people that live like I live, how can I have an expanded perception of anything? I don't even just watch regular TV anymore. I watch Korean dramas. I try and watch, documentaries about other places. Here on Instagram, I have so much diversity in my feed. And that is a free way for me to experience a broader perspective than my own. So when I started doing self-exploration and realized, now wait a minute, why do you have so much trust in a government that has never Why do you have so much trust in a government that has never been trustworthy? And then I realized, because that's a lie I tell myself to feel a false sense of security and to absolve myself of the responsibility of challenging it. And I had to be real with myself about that. Then I challenged myself about consumerism. How much money are you spending on nonsense? How much are you reliant on convenience? And the fact of the matter is, I don't see anything redeemable about American culture. So I had to ask myself, what are you perpetuating and internalizing that you consider American culture? That is consumerism. That is, and let me also add, that's not just consumerism in terms of money. That's consumerism in terms of what content I'm taking in. Right? That's also about having a myopic point of view, because America, the United States, does not consider other nations, other cultures to be important. So that was like, I had to expand my consciousness of that. I also consider a big part of American culture to be the ways in which we interact with each other in the world. We don't really think about other people culturally. Some of us individually do, but culturally we don't. We don't think about other people. There isn't an expectation of consideration. And though I'm already somebody who does that, I've pushed myself to be even more that. I'm just saying the stuff that I've done. There's other people that have done other things, but this is the journey that I'm on. And the other part of it, and the big part of it, is that American culture is capitalist. And it says, if I just keep achieving, then I am in purpose. Yes, Justasia, large-scale cultural narcissism. If I just keep achieving, then I'll be in purpose. And to be quite honest, I am very blessed that, Black Hollywood and the Black media machine turned on me. I'm so blessed because it was their ostracizing that forced me to have to either choose to figure out how to get them to win me, how to get them to accept me. Or I had to do more exploration to figure out where I should be. And, as I continue to do that, you come to understand that, you don't belong there because those spaces are built on a different value system than you do, than you are. So for me, I don't aspire to wealth. I don't aspire to mainstream acceptance. I understand that in order for those two things, you will be forced to, cut off pieces of your integrity and sell it. So, a lot of the people that come for me, they are angry that I'm not aligning with what they feel is an accepted positive. And so that's the challenge some of you all are going to face if you haven't already. No, the videos about the 14th Amendment are there. So when I'm seeing people in my comments that are so deeply committed to a falsehood that won't keep them safe, it concerns me. The last 3 videos that I posted are all about the 14th Amendment, love. You got one more time to be in all caps, and I will remove you from this live. The reality is that capitalism would not be so destructive if we did not also support it with a culture that makes it king. Oprah. Well, the thing about it is that we're not mules. Y'all, when you type in all caps, it literally messes with me. So can you please choose not to? So because she's in a better financial position, she's whack. Someone said I'm whack. Why am I whack? Jordy, what's up? No, they're not saying Oprah is whack because she's in a better financial position. They're saying she's whack because she's a billionaire. And to be quite honest, there's no version of being a billionaire that doesn't include exploitation. There's no reason to be a billionaire. Like, you just don't, like, what is the reason to be a billionaire? There you go. The only reason to be a billionaire is to have your money is to use your money as power and influence. So if the power and influence that you're using is not being utilized to make more people live better, I'm not really sure what's the point of it. There just is really no reason why we should have billionaires when there are so many people that have nothing. But we still see being a billionaire as exemplification of success. We see it as achievement. And I just want y'all to know, I know a lot of rich people that are not smart people. They're good at making money, but they're not like smart people. They're just really effective at capitalism. Yeah, the greed that billionaires display is mental illness. The constant pursuit of wealth is addiction. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, like I've done a lot of interviews in my 44 years. What if we start with replacing both parties? Would that make a difference to a degree? I don't know what else to say other than I think that we really have to replace what we consider to be American culture. And that is going to take longer than you and I living will take. And, you know, we are in a nation that was built on genocide. It was built on pain. It was built on slavery. It was built on so many forms of harm, and it continues to be. So when I hear these ideas, I don't want to like I don't want to be like a dream killer, but to be quite honest, I think the number one reason why the United States continues to be where it is because it's never shifted. The Reconstruction could have, but it didn't. It chose to remain a deeply fractured, racist society. So you know, there's in my one woman show, What Would the Ancestors Say? Like, I speak about this reality that they never wanted us here. Martin Luther King talks about this. Like, this is not like some new concept, but it continues to be present because it's never really addressed deeply enough for it to really shift on a major level. And there are factors that get put into our existence that definitely sway our attention. You know, the drugs that were pushed into Black communities of the 70s and 80s were deeply disturbing, deeply disruptive, deeply destabilizing. But nonetheless, I was just sitting here and I was just like, y'all really think this? Elijah, I'm going to need yes for the fall. So, and at the very least, I'm like, okay, so this country is using your money not to provide you with anything, but to go and destroy an entire people. And you're not trying to stop that. And you think that these people are going to care about you? Nuts. Yes, I had to debate some Black conservatives recently. And the trope about Black people being victims was considerably present in their conversations. And I was like, okay, yeah, but we are. Like, we can be victims and heroes. But you're also like acting like it's so quick to just, like, healing is just something that just happens. Like, because a new generation was born. Like, that's nonsensical. Like, folks is like 45, still mad about somebody who, like, wouldn't go to homecoming with them freshman year of high school. And you think that, like, entire communities are just going to recover from the myriad slings and arrows But then, those same people say that the system is not harming black people. So, ultimately, it is refreshing to see so many of you here making sense. Martin Luther King was a conservative Republican. What? At the time, the Republican Party was still the party of Lincoln. It was not until after the Civil Rights Movement that the Republican Party and the Democrats switched, so to speak. Furthermore, Dr. Martin Luther King wrote a book called Where Do We Go From Here? Community or Chaos? He wrote this book in 1967. He was murdered a year later. This is the book where he talks about he fears he's integrated his people into a burning house because he considered America to be moral. He pursued pacifism because he was appealing to the morality of the American populace and American lawmakers. But after the Civil Rights Act, after the Voting Rights Act, he said, we still got lynched. The Klan still ran amok. Police were still harming black folks at will. And he wrote this book to say, my bad. He wrote that book to say, my bad. I actually thought these people were capable of seeing us as people. Well, Longa Me Luke, I would argue that Malcolm also was able to have a broader perspective because Malcolm came from the belly of the beast. So, I already posted videos about that. Anywho. No problem, Nemesis. Ask yourself, what do I do that's American? It's called Where Do We Go From Here? Community or chaos? So that's my assignment for you. Ask yourself, what do I do that is considered American culture? And then challenge yourself on considering if that's a positive thing. And if it's not, challenge yourself on changing it.